Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. It's Hero Labs Live. I'll be your host, RT, today. Good to see you guys. A couple minutes late today. Man, it's been a crazy week. Markets aside, though, you guys, I talked last week about my Mac just being shit and basically just waiting for that to solve itself. And it didn't. Reinstalls, nothing was working. So I went out and ordered a PC, which was supposed to come in June. But then this week I got notice it had been shipped, and then yesterday it showed up. So last night I had a decision. Long day. I was tired. I was like, do I just tear down the setup right now? And then you got to do the software and all this. And I haven't used a PC in about 10 years. So it's been a day, but I got most of the stuff done. One key light, still a little weird. So I got a shadowy face today. But it's all good. Good to see you guys. Boomer, that's how I'm feeling today. John Waynes, Dominic, the fellas, Edge, Blade Runner, Gallagher, good to see you. Yes, Gallagher, I'd like to take a look at Hack of Finance. Anything that's up 70% in 14 days is worth it. Let's get into it, guys. It's been a dark week for some people. I think most people. There's a lot of people, like shorting and you're making money. That's great. I've got a bit of a story to go with my experience this week. See, get the screen share going. We've not had a chance to test this screen share. Please work. First time. Let's go. Oh, yeah. So I have mixed emotions this week. And we'll talk about why and just how I'm dealing with it. Look, the market's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. It's never going to stop. It's always going to be doing something. Sideways is like your worst case. Bitcoin right here for like 8 weeks didn't move much at all, driving people crazy. And on this dip, I got out most of my bag the day before it dumped, and I felt great. And I was sitting there flush with cash, just walking around, shopping, buying dips. And that's how you got to be if you want, if you really want to take advantage of the dips. Then being out of positions so that you have that cash, so that you don't feel so drawn down by the dip that you feel sick just even thinking about adding. It's this crazy psychology that I think most, if not everyone, experiences. And then, the difference between being okay, not being very good, or being great at trading is being able to recognize that, analyze that, and act in a way that is best for you in the future. Perhaps not the most comfortable at the time. All that to say that the writing is on the wall here. The writing was on the wall. And it talked about it a little bit in the newsletter, more in the last couple of weeks. In the last week before this dip, I will say I got complacent. I was not even looking at my overall portfolio weights very much. I was parking size in certain altcoins that I just thought, they're sitting along the bottom. They'll go up. Not gonna focus on them too much. And in the last 2 weeks, I've been so busy with things. Not, the best days for me are when I get to just sit, be an analyst, look at charts, go over stuff. Get my whole head around the market and really dive into, the alpha that I can. The last few weeks have been just one thing after another, right? Setting up new exchange accounts, doing taxes, setting up, this corporation I talked about that I'm going to be trading through that, will help a little bit with taxes, a little business. And all this stuff, and on the phone with a lawyer, like just things that are nothing to do with the market. And that was all good because I was parked in bags and everything was going up and I didn't feel the urge to do it. And so when this all happened, I was like, shit, that's sort of my bad. That's my takeaway as far as, that's the emotion I'm feeling this week, where I just look at this. I'm like, break to new highs after the Coinbase listing, kind of just dumped right after. Probably a good time to take some risk off. Market structure breakdown, bearish retest, and then dump. That's pretty picture perfect. And if I'm sitting here full tilt, paying attention, so I was beating myself up a little bit for missing that this week. Full transparency. That pissed me off because I know how to spot that. And I think I got a little carried away just being comfortable. And you know what, though, guys? All that to say, at this point, like I'm not worried. Like I'm not like, oh no, the bull market's over. It's just a missed opportunity. This was a great trade, or at least a great opportunity to, lock some in, buy some back, whatever it is. So, for an opening rant, that's kind of where my head's at this week, as far as, the emotion of all this downside. which if you look locally isn't that unreasonable at all. I mean, it's exactly what we look at. Bullish market structure breakout, extend, back down into the reload zone. Like it's kind of, you can draw it up and you say, oh, this is kind of normal price action. It's respecting levels. Again, nice higher high, higher high, higher high, but you notice the distance between each one was less. And you should also notice that each time that higher high came in, the RSI made a lower high. So when I say the writing was on the wall, I mean the RSI peaked here. So all of this was on exhaustion. And you could see the volume falling off, right? Now, again, we talked about this lightly, but I was really focused on the alts, which we're seeing tremendous upside through all of this kind of almost sideways action here. And that's great. So we're going to survive, live to see another day. This market's not going anywhere. There is billions of dollars yet to arrive, if not trillions. And it's just a matter of time frame. So do we need to have a continued cool off here? I'd really like to see a 20-week SMA tag through whatever this dip is going to be. If we tag that, that's going to clean up a few things for me from a technical perspective. We can see that a little better here. I think it's this one. Yeah. I mean, if you look here, you can see through 2017 how that 20-week SMA worked. It worked wonders. And I mean, this was January. This was March. I didn't even join crypto until sometime through this. And so this was like the Bcash fork, super fuddy. Those are weekly candles. So that's like 1 week, huge dump, 2, 3, 4. And then on the 5th week, it absolutely died. I mean, everyone around here was like, that's the top. That's the end of the bull market. And it would have been a great bull market if it was. I mean, it came all the way from $184 to 3,000. It was a great little run. But Bcash fork happened. Everything was fine. The world didn't end. And we exploded up, almost 2xing within a period of, actually almost 3xing within a period of a month and a half. And then again, China banned Bitcoin, just tags the 20-week moving average. Now, at the time, I didn't know much about TA. I certainly wasn't watching the 20-week moving average. So this is all hindsight trading. But you can see here, and then if it breaks through, you can start to watch for those bearish retests. Okay, fuck, it's a bear market. Or even if we don't know what it is, we can start thinking about taking profits, making that exit at the bearish retest of this level. So this is probably the safest place to go and do some analysis if you're looking at this, looking for like what everyone seems to want to talk about, which is a high time frame top for this whole cycle. And I see no evidence of, I mean, we haven't even touched it yet. So let's just leave the simple analysis. Like, let's make it simple. Until we are trading below this, until we have come up and tested this from below, we are in a bullish trend. And I'd love to buy this dip at 44,000. If, and this thing's going to creep up about $1,300 a week. Maybe a little slower now that the price is down a bit, but it's been going up about $1,300 a week. So, somewhere through here, whatever this ends up being, I would like to see that touch, whether it breaks through a little bit. As you can see, even in the bull, it did right here. That could have lasted days. That could have lasted days, right? So that's kind of my closest, focal point right now. And then obviously zoomed in last night, I'm going to bed. You get that gross feeling where it's like, oh, dump, didn't sell the bounce. Again, kind of distracted this week, just figured, oh, well, I'm not going to overtrade this, just going to sit through. And then, of course, the bleed out and then just a smack into this 786 on a clean 47,500. And a really nice bounce, which this really is a bearish retest right now. So we need to keep an eye on that. This is not a place to suddenly decide, oh, I sold, now I got to buy back. This is a bearish retest. This is where a lot of people who felt trapped are going to start to get wise now and probably want to exit their positions. So who knows if we have to come right back from that, maybe test the local low and then, then we get something like that. But if I'm going to short this, if I'm going to get wise and be like, I'm a bear now, I can't short from down in that reload zone. I need something up here. I need, as you guys know, like a short reload zone. And we're going to get one of those at some point. If it's up here, if we go lower and it's a little lower, like whatever it is, the market will zigzag its way down if it's going to transition into like some macro bear all of a sudden. Guys are Joe Biden. Such bullshit. So those are kind of my thoughts. Nothing's really changed, but I wanted to come out and just let you guys know even though I do this analysis and I trade and I do pretty well for myself over time, it still fucks with me, man. Like this stuff, you feel it and it sucks. It's not fun. And you start to look at positions. There's definitely 3 positions I'm in that I should not be in, that are outside of my trading plan, that I just kind of casually parked, some capital in and was like, fuck it, we'll see them. And you know what? I still think in a few months, there's a pretty good chance they're going to be up multiple X's. So I'm not cutting them in below the lows or whatever. Blade Runner says he's buffering. How are we doing for quality on the stream, guys? I'm going to double check now for my big rant. Better check in. Are we still live? Okay, we're good. Okay, stop freaking me out, Blade Runner. Yes, you are the only one buffering. Thank you for coming out. Oh, great, guys. Thanks for that. So, that's kind of my opening ramble. Again, with the PC transition, I spent all last night ripping down the setup, building it all back up, new wires, new adapters, all this stuff. Spent all day today arm wrestling with friggin' Windows mail, trying to get my mail to sync. So I haven't had the time to dive into this. So you guys are going to get to see it raw analysis. Let's get into some charts. Those are my takes on the high time frames. This will take time to clean up, in my opinion. It's going to be a lot of people that want out of their positions. They're feeling pain right now. They were up a lot. Now they're only up a little, or they're down. And that emotion is going to take its time to play out in the market. I don't see it, even if you're super bullish, big, deep pocketed individual, why would you just buy it up to a new launch? I don't see any catalysts. I think we need to cool down. I think we need to chill out, go sideways. And for recovery, the majors and the really strong coins, things like FTT, Solana, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, I don't know about XRP, but like some of those majors, those deeply liquid, deep heavy duty Link, those are the coins that are probably going to recover the fastest. And they may lead whatever comes next to the upside. And so that's why I was like, okay, a couple of those positions I'm in, like they're not going to lead. They're probably going to bleed out. Even if these things turn bull again, like the confidence won't return to some of the smaller, weird, obscure cap Uniswap coins. Probably the confidence will come back for those last. But again, I'm in them. They're underwater. I'm going to leave them. In many other ways, I manage risk into the sense that like if they turn to zero, I could still have dinner tomorrow. Like I'll be all right. But that, it stings. And that's what I wrote in my trade journal this week. I was like, all right, got complacent. Couple positions were not so great. But for Bitcoin, which by the way, looks like death compared to Ethereum. It actually looks okay down here. I like this. We got bullish divergence forming. Somebody asked on Twitter, why is this a potential bullish divergence? And the best way I can describe it to you is it's very similar to market structure that we look for. That's not a great example. Let's say we're trending down, and then we stop, we make a higher low, and then a higher high. That's what you want to see to show a confirmation of reversal, right? So not only do we have a higher low, it's like, oh, we may be reversing, but then you make a higher high. And often you can get a dip after that as well. And that's your reload zone. And the MACD is similar to that in how I read it. So right here, we have a higher low, but we haven't made the higher high yet. And we don't just need to break back positive. We need to break this midpoint. Once we do that, this bullish divergence, I can say that's confirmed. And again, you can have bullish market structure, bullish divergence confirmed on RSI and MACD. And then the price can still go down after that, right? That doesn't mean it's a lock, but it's a few unrelated reasons that I look at and say, oh, there's like, these are adding up now. The bull case strengthens. And so that's what I'm watching here on the MACD, the RSI, things like that. So when you guys hear like unconfirmed bullish divergence, it is in divergence. The MACD is going down. So the momentum of this move has slowed, as you might expect, in this consolidation range, in this reload zone. It's done exactly what you would expect it to do, but it hasn't reversed yet. And like I said, this is just a bearish retest. I actually wouldn't be shocked if this is a local high, not one bit. And then what I'll be looking for is, can we make that low and we make yet another higher low, or even better, the MACD goes positive as we make the low. Nice, strong internal strength. That'd be great. I think the weekly, let's see, 20-week moving average is sitting at about 44,000. So let's mark that on this chart. Yeah, kind of like right here. So in a week, this is going to be slowly going up, this 20-week moving average. I'd like it to make contact in this reload zone. That would just be clean. It would follow my TA beautifully. I would feel very comfortable buying that with my spot, powder. Probably not rushing in with leverage because that's, high time frame. I don't really use leverage, more for scalps. So that's Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum looks a lot better, but I've got to ask myself, does Ethereum need a little cleanup too? I actually have a better Ethereum chart. Where was it? Over here. Is it? Is this a better Ethereum chart? Ooh, what the hell's my... Oh, I know where it is. ETH Daily. Let's go get the ETH Daily. True, a lot of work from home. Pre-ordered Starlink. What crap internet? Ooh. All right. You guys might notice the font is different too, because I'm on a PC now. I don't know. Everything's strange in PC land. It's going to take some getting used to. Let's check out the 12-hour. It's not quite a daily. It'll give us a little more detail. And then this can come up. So yeah, I mean, look at Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin. And that's not surprising if we go look at the pair that's really making all the noise this week or month. That's, ETH BTC. This ratio is really important to watch. Like that. And this is why I was kind of getting so complacent with some altcoins, because when ETH wakes up versus Bitcoin, it may not happen right away and it may cycle. So ETH goes first and then, Link and some other big ones, and then the trickles down. But I'm confident at that point that we're heading into, a really nice season for alts. But then Bitcoin just really came out and is so weak right now, shaking things out. So I don't expect that to last. Certainly not forever. I don't even think more than, I don't know, week, 2 weeks. It feels like a long time when you're staring at it. But let's dive into Ethereum. So what we have here, moving up to new highs, brand new highs, even as Bitcoin was already dumping. So let's not sleep on the significance of that. Coming back in, testing, there is demand here, buying, sending price back up. There's a lot of people in the world, clearly, that think Ethereum is undervalued, and even in the face of the king, Bitcoin, rolling over and looking like shit, squeezing everyone out, liquidating everyone, Ethereum has managed to maintain this support. If we break below this, I will not be too excited. That wouldn't be great. But this is the key level right now, 2150. So breaking below that, turning this into resistance, then we have to really consider that reload zone from the same time frame, which is right down into here, which is totally possible. Got to be prepared for that. And then, just thinking about zoomed out, I like to go back to the weekly, because this was an insane rip-roaring bull market. And the best part of it was right here. That's when things went 10x, like altcoins went 100x in a week. Everything was absolutely face-melting insane. And all through this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there was a 5-week bear market in there, quote unquote bear market. A 3-week, it's like 21 days here. We dropped, BNB here dropped 85%. It was a new coin. It was out of China. China banned Bitcoin. Everyone dumped BNB. They thought it's going out of business. That's Binance coin. Yes, it dropped all the way, probably under, it was like $1 at the time. And then here, I don't know what happened. It was just a bad week. Everyone put the top in. So this happens on the way up. This almost looks better. Like, this doesn't look news driven. This just looks like honest exhaustion. It's like, fuck, nobody wants to buy Bitcoin at $60,000 for one coin. Clearly, there's the interest dried up. Look at the buy volume. So you're going to keep a close eye on this. It's really going to mess with my head if Bitcoin just becomes uncool and Ethereum, keeps doing well. That's gonna just break the friggin' model. That's gonna mess with everybody, and it's totally possible. Oh my God, everything's evolving, new paradigm. I don't know. So how high can Ethereum go without Bitcoin? I don't know, but the ratio can climb for sure. Slow trickle down or up from Ethereum, while Bitcoin just, I don't know. So we're gonna see. Let's look at some altcoins, guys. I don't want to get into too much of this Nostradamus prediction shit. I think the bottom line is, for anyone who needs to hear it, no, crypto's not dead. No, it's not going anywhere. Yes, markets are going to really burn you on the way down after big moves up. They will. And it's incredible. No matter how much time I spend looking at markets, how much time I spend trading, learning, reflecting, journaling, this shit still gets to me. I won't, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm a pro. This iron hands, no emotions. I mean, this stuff does. You look at it, you're like, fuck. You start counting up certain things that drew down. You're like, wow. But zooming out, let's think big picture. I don't know about you guys over the last year and stuff, but the drawdown that I just experienced on my portfolio was something like 30x the size of my entire portfolio back in whatever this January 2020. January 2020, the size of my portfolio, 30x that just got wiped off my portfolio. So, and it's like I'm okay. Like it was like whatever, 30% drawdown, 40% drawdown from my high. That's the picture. That's what you got to hold on to in times like this. If you just experienced a large drawdown, hopefully nothing crazy like liquidations and stuff, really think back to like compare to where you were, because that zigzag up, it's never a straight line. So let's get focused. Let's get back to these alts. Let me know what coins you guys want to look at. I think Bitcoin is going to pause somewhere through here, whether that's a throwback to 42, whether that's a 20-week moving average tag, or whether it's already done. It very well could be done. Let's get I get a little mixed up on my charts here today. Locally, yeah, bearish throwback here, no problem. Going to have to sort ourselves out through this. But if I had to be a guessing man, maybe a little optimistic guessing man, I'd say we're going to just kind of consolidate in some way, shape, or form through this for a little bit. Maybe end with like a tag like that on the 20-week moving average as it sneaks up underneath, and then we're off. And the job of the market here, if it had like a personality, its job is to get me to sell my Bitcoin at the worst possible time. Its job is to bore me to shit, to convince me that I have better things to do with my money, that selling somewhere in this dip is what I should do. That's the way I'm playing it. That's the way I see it. And I can take that risk of being wrong. And it's like, oh, well, what if it does actually drop to 40, to 30, to 20 in the next 6 months or whatever? What if we have a bear market this year and then there's just a new bull market in 2022? What if this 4-year cycle's wrong? I don't know, but I can take the risk of that not being the case because I banked some profit along the way. Some guys were laughing at me. They said, why would you pull money out? I was like, well, now I have a cushion. Now I have a base. Now I feel like no matter what happens, I can fall asleep at night and be like, I'm good for a little bit. I'm not rich. I haven't achieved my goals. I haven't made it, but I paid myself. And so I can take these risks through here. But I'm certainly not in a rush today. It was actually weirdly a good day to be stuck working on my PC shit because there's not a whole lot I want to do in here. I do want to buy the dip. I'm notorious for missing dips, so you guys should be aware of that. I say shit like this and I'm like, I want to buy the dip, but I'm going to wait. And then like a week later, I end up, buying some other altcoin and like a little higher, whatever. But I'm certainly, not buying here, not buying now. All right. Solana, HBAR, FTT, KSM. We're going to start with Haka Finance. Give me a sec. I just realized this is not quite the way we like. You know what? Custom colors. I'm just going to do those another time, guys. I think everyone here can prefer the charts and the speed rather than getting all the fun colors today. ChartX Pro on a new computer. I guess my cache didn't save. Google Chrome, no save the cache. Let's go over to Haka. We said at the very top of the show that it was in fact up quite a bit. Wow. Yeah. I mean, Yeah, guys, I spent so much time on that Bitcoin chart and it just looks so sad, short term, midterm, whatever. But like this, this just looks bullish. Whatever this chart, whatever this company, whatever this project's doing, I don't think it's a company, protocol. It's trending up. It's trending up. It's putting in W's, not quite a higher high, but in the midst of what we're seeing in the market this week, I'm not surprised, and this doesn't look too bad. So Haka looks great. Nice big buy volume. I mean, somebody is buying it. There is way more Haka being accumulated down here than there is being sold. And you can see that but with these large green volume candles. Can we get the volume, Jono? I don't know how you do that. You shrink the screen a bit or something so they can see volume. Let's take a look at that volume because that is what's telling me, that's telling the story here. Let's crank up the volume so y'all can see it. All right, so you guys see this volume, right? So you have these big candles. They're all green. All the tallest candles are green. That means on the big high volume days, it's buying, majority buying, price go up. So, you look at this chart, and if it was all selling, it would be a very different story. Volume is more important than the actual price, in my opinion. So Haka looks great. That's all I'm going to say. It's an accumulation range, and if it does break out of here, I don't know anything about the tokenomics, but let's keep an eye on that. H-bar. Ooh, okay. So let's get focused here on what's important during dips like this, because there are some bags, and I think that's why I was a little salty this week. It was less about like, ooh, my number went down. It was more like I was less prepared to do what I had been doing the whole way up. I was like, fuck, these are great bags. These are great projects. I'm bullish on them. I need to wait for a dip. Well, here's the dip, and I'm going to be deploying. I guess I was just a little salty that I was less prepared. So let's get prepared. Let's not spend the time that the dips come in talking about what could have been or, how those are going to go. And it's more like, be robotic about it. Is this a pump? Yes. Is this the pump chaser zone? Yes. All right. Then I don't have to be right about Hedera Hashgraph bottoming here if I size accordingly. So if I have $10,000 that I want to buy dips with, and if I want to buy $10,000 the whole thing into H-bar, well, I better be fucking bang on with my dip buying, because if it continues to dip or if it doesn't move quick enough or if some other coin pumps, I've gone all in on this one. But if I take $500, I could just punt it into H-bar right now, sprinkle it around a little bit. Sprinkle another 500. Maybe we dribble down a little more next week. I sprinkle another 500. And by the end of whatever this is, if it's days or weeks, that 10,000 has been averaged into a handful of bags that I'm bullish on. H-bar is one of them. So after this show, I'm going to go and I'm going to assess my entire portfolio. I'm going to take a look at all my dry powder, where I want to deploy it most, because I am going to be deploying it almost entirely through this dip. I do not believe that the bull market is over, not one bit. And I see this whole thing as like a decade-long bull. There will be cycles throughout because it's just the way markets work. There's too many people in the market buying because number go up. So when number stops going up, they will sell, and that will have to play itself out through, something like this. And it'll get boring and shitty for a while. That's going to happen as part of a larger uptrend, in my opinion. But yeah, I'll be deploying most of it through this. So H-bar is on my list. Great call. It's in the pump chaser zone. Really nice reaction to that. I'm not in a rush on any of these, like for this hour per se. This is a daily chart. Typically, you're gonna see whatever you're gonna see, consolidation, and I can actually wait until there's more, of a breakout, buy volume coming in, because right after that breakout, boop, there's gonna be a little pump chaser tag, and then it's gonna go. So less excited about, today, first dip into this thing, buying it. More excited about setting alerts just above it and seeing what happens once, once those trigger. So let's keep that in mind. Vet. Ooh, Vet took a hit, didn't it? Didn't it? Ooh. See, we're getting some really nice reactions. I think some of my preamble rant may have been misinformed just because I haven't looked through the entire market. Fuck, this was my trade on Vet earlier this year. down around the 100 mark after this breakout, buying the dip, selling, and then it ran. Vet's been crushing, multi-billion market cap, which was my justification for rotating it after this first pump. I thought, that's a good trade. I'm going to move on. Can't believe it. This thing's up. What's its market cap now? It's got to be like close to double-digit billions after this dump. 12 billion, 13 billion. Yeah, great work for Vet. I heard TikTok got a hold of them. Oh my God, JH, why did you have to bring up Razor, bro? Just kidding. It's one of the bags that I'm in that's underwater. Apparently this was like some whale exiting. Again, been a bit distracted this week. Didn't get a chance to watch. Somebody messaged me like, did Razor rug? I was like, oh dear God. I hope not. That would be my first balls deep rug. But people did some blockchain analysis, and it was apparently just some whale who had like aped in like 7 figures into this thing. And they looked through his wallet. This is awkward too. And apparently he just does that a lot and just sells at big losses. Sometimes. I'm sure he hits some home runs once in a while with 8 plays like that. But so he exited this apparently in this candle. And if that's, he or she, let's not give all the credit to the guys. Let's be real though. It was probably a guy. And this is your bottom support. So yeah, Razor looks like shit, but I'm not selling my bag here. And you have to keep in mind the context of that, which is that if it went to 0, I would be okay. Make sure that, if you're going to listen to my opinion, which is that I'm not selling, and then you're not going to sell, but secretly you're all in, and that would just screw you up. Well, that's why this is not financial advice, because I don't know your situation. But I'm not selling my bag. I'm not sure I want to add to it, because there's other dips I want to buy, and averaging into losing bags is not really my style. But it's probably like, I was bullish on it before. I said this thing's probably going to get a shot, and I don't think that my opinions changed. Can you see me? You can see me and hear me. All right. Oh yeah, I got to do the screen share. Back to this share Razor. Let's go. All right, guys. Funny story. So my VPN just burped. It's like disconnected. We've protected your traffic. Reconnected. And then like Rendezvous session was like, you have to join with a new browser. And then of course, first time opening Microsoft Edge browser. It's like giving me all these things it's asking. So anyways, we're back. Can see and hear you. Okay, excellent. Thanks, guys. Yeah, note to self, no VPN during streaming, because if it burps or hiccups, it just destroys the world. So yeah, Razor, like this is the thing. Why am I so bullish on Razor? Somebody asked. I'm not so bullish on Razor. I looked at it, fully decentralized Oracle, little Alameda backing, saw some big names talking about it on Twitter, figured they're going to keep pumping noise into it once it starts to move. It's got legs. And then I just look and it's launched and it hasn't really done shit. And we're in a market where feeding off the bottoms of post-launch things, I figured it'll get its day in the sun. That was my logic. There's like 7,000 coins in this market. I know I can find one I'm more bullish on. And that's kind of what my journal response was this week when I was like writing up my little shitstorm of emotion in my Google journal thing. As a trader, I was just like, why this one? Why size this one? Was it, I'm more bullish on Solana than I was on Razor. So why didn't I just add more to my Solana position, which I did last weekend? Questions like that. But having said that, I have the bag now, and my initial thesis is probably still accurate, which is that if I give it, a couple months, whatever time it takes, this thing will, remember what they say, if you want to be a bull, just squish your chart. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Right? We're just testing the lows. A little sweep of the lows here. It's probably a generational entry, right? Like, I think I can get a rally on this. At this point, if you said to me, RT, I'm your best friend. I got 5K. I want to put it all into one coin. What is it? I wouldn't pick Razor. But I'm sure as hell not selling my bag down here. Let's put it that way. I think it's going to be cool. I do actually really like the idea. Fully decentralized Oracle. They all have centralized points right now. So it's it might have some room. Let's keep cycling. Vet, I just talked about without really saying much. Let's get this ink out of here. Wow. Yeah. So Vet looks good. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Yeah, Bitcoin looks tired. The weekly looks like it could just roll over. We could be headed for like a midterm consolidation retracement. Yes. But look at these pairs. Weekly W's and then exploding up. Another one that I don't know what it looks like right this minute. Yeah. So you get this formation, this huge bottoming rounded bottom W formation. And this breakout is the confirmation that it's going to go higher, in my opinion. So all of this dip is like a last stop, last chance. And then through this, and then it, should continue. If markets are markets, this is what the market's telling us. It's telling us that this thing wants to be an uptrend. Then this is the dip to buy. All other things aside. And this is versus Bitcoin. And that's what can really fuck with people sometimes. Because they say, well, it's in an uptrend versus Bitcoin, but Bitcoin looks like trash. I don't want something that's bullish versus Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's looking like trash, I'm going to lose money. And you might go down in USD for a bit. Who knows? But all things being equal, this thing will probably outperform Bitcoin sometime in the year. And Bitcoin will probably outperform USD from the low 40s, mid 40s, if it gets in there. So have to keep that in mind. Another one that I just remember I put out on Twitter this week, I thought, yeah, this looks really bullish too, is this kind of thing. AGI, Singularity Net. Now, if you are into AI or you think AI is going to be a big thing and you've done some research, you might have heard of a guy named Ben Gortzel. He was on a documentary I watched in 2008 with Ray Kurzweil talking about sort of the future, singularity, all this stuff. Well, he is involved with Singularity Net. So that's why I always had a soft spot for it. At a glance, AGI, it's just some random shitcoin. You don't hear too many people shilling it. But I really want a bag of this. So when I see this support turn into resistance, stay resistance, and now turn back to support, I'm just like looking upwards. So on that note, what's going on my list? Johnny, put AGI, Seller, and HBAR on the list, please. Although I got to say, all things being totally equal, Seller and AGI look better than HBAR as far as like a readiness goes. Like clean setups. I mean, like, what is this? What's this? It's not quite as clean. It's pretty dope though. I mean, I'm not hating. HBAR is pretty awesome. It's probably going to, but like the other two charts we just looked at, they're almost like Yeah, they're one step ahead. So you can see those two charts, they came up, they tested this as resistance. So for H bar to be at a level that they're at from like a chart perspective, you'd almost need it to be here and then coming back in for that dip. It hasn't quite done the thing. So I think AGI definitely a little higher on my list. I mean, look at that. Ugh. That's what you want to see too. You want to see these big nasty dumps and then just a strong reaction. It's like there was a lot of buying there. And in bull markets, the dips are violent, aggressive, and they often get strong reactions back up. And then you're like, okay, so that was a shakeout. That was not like a bear trend. That was just like a fuck you, you're over leveraged. Fuck you, you're weak handed. And then continue. So we'll see. These look great. God, see, that's the thing. And if I just sit here and chart Bitcoin, I'm like, market looks tired, market looks boring, market looks risky. And then I just go back to my altcoins, my ETHs. This looks shitty though. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see ETH come up and just retest that low again. So I'm not trying to get long in here, but these fucking these altcoins versus Bitcoin. I don't know how you have a bull market like FU alt season while Bitcoin, I don't know, but it just looks like it's going to happen. So I'm going to just stay objective. I'm going to look completely objectively at this chart. I have some Bitcoin right now. This is bullish versus that. I will have more Bitcoin sooner if I trade this. At some point I'll have more Bitcoin if this setup works out. I think I'm just going to keep it at that. Simplify. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to hit the perfect spot. Don't try to size up and be, right. Just put a little risk on to something that looks good and let the market do its thing. There it is. You guys just listened to me coming to a conclusion. After a wild week, half the stream is really just me forming my next leg thesis. Woo! Let's go check out Woo. Woo's a fun coin. It's fun to say. And it's fun to hold. If you've been holding it since the bottom. Woo Trade Network, let's go. Yeah, nice little uptrend. And again, look at this throwback. I mean, yeah, this is it, guys. This is trading 101. When it gets crazy and bullish, just be patient. Be patient. Wait for throwbacks. And when they come, instead of feeling wrecked, instead of feeling perturbed, instead of sitting around and saying, okay, I'm going to set stink bids, and then getting ridiculous and setting them way down in bear market territory, just be patient, because almost every time markets will come back and give you entries at places where if you're not being patient and you're sizing up through this kind of stuff, you end up puking right here. Hope all that makes sense. For some of you, you're probably like, yeah, we get it, we know. But for those of you who have not been around, that's kind of just the way she goes. All through this, it was very hard not to FOMO into Bitcoin here. But you draw it up, get your reload zone. And if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. But if it does, oof, right on cue. What's our time like? Okay, we're getting up to the hour. Let's get a couple more coins. Oh, do you want to just do that? Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Fuck it. Okay, we're going to try to do camera, guys. RT cam. You know what? Now it's not letting me in with this Google Chrome. It says unable to connect to session. So now it's got the error where you'd have to do a new session because of that little disconnect. So let's not fuck with it. We're going to fuck with it for next week. Yeah, like what? No, it's Friday afternoon. We're not trying new things. But what we are going to be able to do with my new machine is probably have me live on cam with the chart share at the same time, joining the stream twice. So that's kind of fun. You can see all my expressions, my silly face. It's backed by Willie. Sushi. Came to same conclusion. Chart Woo. Yeah, okay, guys. That was a really lame charting of Woo. But that's it. No, actually, I take that back. I did do the support resistance. I mean, sometimes the simplest is the best. The only other thing I would say, okay, so now we say, oh, this is probably a great entry, given that we had, at the highs, we had the highest volume, generally, which tells me that wasn't the top. Typically tops come in on exhausted volume. So throwback dip. Yep. Actually, Woo should be on my list. See, like, that's it. And I look at this chart and I say, hell yeah, I'd rather rotate my Razor bag into Woo. Because Razor, even though it's sitting at a really nice low, it just like died. It's going to take time to clean up. This looks like a quick and dirty throwback on a very strong uptrend. So I might have just talked myself into like rotating some of my bag. And that's the nice thing about Uniswap, right? You can capitulate and FOMO in one trade. Just swap my Razor over to Woo. It's not something I usually do, but God, why not? It looks way better. And it's not like I'm buying high here. Like it's just, it's on a dip. It's on a dip of a strong uptrend versus like a dump in a bottom feeding range with no volume. So I'm not perfect, guys. I might have been wrong with Razor, at least with the timing. So it's like, yeah, 3 months, it'll probably go up. But do I really want to park there if I find an optimal spot? So I think somebody just talked me into swapping to Woo. We'll see. Don't front run me, bros. This is not the one I want, though. I want to get the fib extension. Let's see. 1618. Can't wait to get these all set up so they're back to my nice, clean looking charts. Getting a new computer is exciting. Like as a tech nerd, it's like the most exciting thing. You get a fresh new machine with all this cool shit. But as somebody who's got like a job to do, it's stressful. It's like moving, you know, you're living out of boxes. Every time I open something, there's like 10 little notifications. It's like, would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? Would you like to allow this? So that's going to be going on for about a week, but it's a sick machine. I'm pumped. The producer hooked me up with his specs and I just aped in. So $2.15 would be the fib extension of this. That's a little aggressive. You want to be a little more conservative. You want to just take this range that high, even more conservative, get rid of that wick. Safe play, Sammy safe play here, and that's still over 100% move. And because it's a more conservative of the extensions, it's like, you know, it's a little less likely to get front run. If I buy Woo today and I sell it when it's 2x and I only sell half, I now have a free bag of Woo that cost me absolutely nothing. I get my money back. I can go play that game with some other asset. And now I can just hold that Woo till December or whatever, till some blow off top, which for now we can only assume will be exactly the same as 2017, because of course it will, right? Not. So I think, yeah. Thanks, guys. All right, Johnny, add Woo to the list. And Edge says it has a nice burn feature, which I love, because then you can kind of like, that's like the sweet thing about BNB, right? Back in September 2017, I was thinking, man, they're going to be burning BNB every month forever. Forever. As far as I know. I don't think they have a cap on how much they're going to burn. They burn like 66 million per quarter. Like, that's crazy. So think about like 10 years from now. It's just going to be like a $17,000 BNB coin. There's going to be, you know, 2 million of them left. It's going to be weird. I don't know. So I love a good burn feature. Seems like it has legs. Yep. Yaks. Keep hearing about. Don't know what it is. Have mixed feelings about Yop. What do you guys think? No Blade. I'll get him in the Discord. Okay. Let's take a look at DOT. That's going to probably be our last one today. I say probably because I always say that and then just ramble on for 20 minutes. But let's take a look at DOT. The weekly looks a little poopy, but it hasn't broken down yet. You need a close below this if you want to be a bear. And it's not even that good of a bear because this was a higher high. So typically, like your top comes in, it's a lower high, and this. So I don't think it's a top on DOT at all. I think that's crazy talk. So I don't even know why I'm charting it from that perspective. I'll tell you this. That was a sweet setup in January. That's the last time I charted this, apparently. Let's go to the daily. Nice buy up today. Nice buy up today. So, I mean, there's really two things that are going to happen here. Either we're going to, you know, spring and then chop around for a bit and then find the next direction. Or it's just going to be like this, like, fuck you, you missed it. Very possible. In which case I may miss some. Let's look at DOT. Let's look for reals. What would it, okay, well, what would an extension of the initial move off the bottom look like? We got pretty close to it. We got kind of front run on it. I guess I could try to make it fit right here, but it seems a little less honest. Spring off the bottom. You know, you could have drawn it in either one. It's a little tricky, but that fib extension did the trick. Easy in retrospect. And that's why I kind of like to go with the more conservative. Let's, like, we just did that with Woo, and this is exactly why, right? Because if you have this one and you're like, oh, which one is it? I don't know. If you did that one and you didn't take profit till there, you just missed. But you take the slightly more conservative one, like we just did with Woo, and you just smacked 3 times. So if you ever see me kind of erring on the side of conservatism, it's because somebody somewhere, like a certain amount of participants, they drew it this way and they're taking profit there. A certain amount will draw it the other way. So like if you have a valid one that is lower, that's going to front run you. So I like to be part of that. I'd rather get my profit more often and more likely than like slightly bigger, if that makes sense. Serum. So yeah, I don't know. Dot. That's just consolidating after some pretty nice price action. I could say the final thing here, probably just want to get a little retrace. Where's my pump chaser zone? There it is. So we just tapped it and a really nice reaction to that. So again, you know, patience, buying throwbacks, buying pump chaser zones, buying targeted entries instead of arbitrarily FOMOing in. These are all things that we're seeing happen before our eyes week after week after week after week. The question for us as traders is, are we going to follow, well, create and then follow a plan? Because it's so easy when you look at it in retrospect, but actually behaving the way you need to maximize on it or capitalize on it, that's the hard part. And that's why, despite this market being very generous, a lot of people are just going to end up losing money because they can see, but they cannot do. So let's do. I think I would like to get my dot back. I mean, this is a consolidation range, and typically breaking out from the highs of this would bring on a very nice continuation. Let's just do some fun chaos levels. This is not, I mean, like the high time frame chaos, the real sick one would be like this. I don't think, no, I don't like that. I don't think it's not a good one. This is sort of the local one. Let's see what it did. It's a little slow on my charting right now. Oh God, look at that. Chaos. Once it hits the level, chaos enters the market. Sure enough, smackdown. What a level. Note to self, spend more time charting these things, because when I finally go back and chart them, it seems so clear. So when you get fib extensions lining up with chaos levels, that's a really nice place to pay yourself. And everyone who paid themselves at those places is now able to buy the dip with their profit. I didn't really trade dot. I bought some through here, got a free position, sold the rest of it somewhere through here. I'd like to get some more. It's a strong project. And if somebody said, you know, I got X amount, I got to put it all into one coin, which one would you choose? I'd probably just say Ethereum for lack of being too creative, but dot is definitely on that list too. It's just solid. It's going to be around. It's going to be great. Can you look at AOS? Okay, guys, last two, Serum and AOS. Tom Walsh spamming the chat. Serum. Almost want to pass due to spam, Tom Walsh, but I won't because it's a Sam coin and I have some. Got rejected as fuck right here at this throwback, so that's not great. It's super, how do I say this? I was about to say super undervalued, but I don't know how I would validate that. Let me tell you this. Rob from Hxro, who's on our panel on Wednesdays, is really bullish, obviously on Solana, FTT, things like that, but really bullish on Serum too, him and Dan. And they're people that I respect deeply, their analysis of things, their ability to spot value, spot potential. And so when I talk about this thing, you know, how bullish I am on it, just be clear, it is all spawned from those two guys. They're my insiders, my sharps. And they love this coin. And I've got a bag staking on FTX. I just don't really look at it. You know, you guys were watching the stream back around here. You saw me picking it up. We were buying this breakout. We were buying this test. We were taking way too much profit through here, right in the short reload zone. Remember I said, I was like, look, I'm going to take some profit here, but we got to think big. So I didn't sell all. I staked the rest. And yeah, locally, just got rejected here. So not too excited to rush into that. Right now, what we have is a downtrend on the daily. If you want to look at this top, this breakdown, low, lower high, coming in for a lower low tonight if we close down here. So let it cool off. Give it some space. Let's say pump chaser zone. Nice and easy target. Nothing too fancy. Where's that? Well, we're kind of dipping into it. So yeah, it's either going to be touch and go or drop in and consolidate and chop and chop and chop. I always lean towards this because I find every time I rush in to play a touch and go, I get stuck in this and I lose money, and then I lose any flavor for the asset, and then I finally watch it break out and I'm like, damn. So I have more success betting on consolidation than I do on trying to catch like touch and goes. That's what my data shows me as a trader. So I'm going to wait on adding for serum. Although if you're just like high time frame bull, these pump chaser zones, I mean, they work wonders. Anyone buying in here is on the right side of like the risk reward ratio as a rule. So my God, the chat's heating up tonight, guys. I got to get going, but let's do one more. You got me. Head and shoulders for me. Cheers. I'm in heavy. Yeah, Walsh. I know. I saw as soon as you were spamming the chat, I was like, oh damn, dude's got a heavy bag. I gotta get him some. It just, I don't see any way that this thing doesn't turn into a massive success. It's got Sam backing it. It's like the plumbing on Solana, which I'm extremely bullish on. It's just going to be so well funded, so well taken care of, so strongly promoted. It's going to attract some of the top devs, huge liquidity. And again, with the guys backing Serum, they're not aiming to be the next Uniswap. They're aiming to be the next New York Stock Exchange. So do you have 6 years? I would stick around. So Serum for me right now is an investment. I have that bag that I have left. It's a free bag that I kind of got from this trade here, double, 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 and then sell half kind of thing. And I'm just staking it. Like I don't even look at it. The value is not showing on my portfolio. That's where I'm at with Serum. Now, would I like to trade it out of here and get an extension trade? Yes, because look at that extension. If we go on another leg, if we go for a ride here, we're talking $12 Serum. There's no sign just yet that we will, but if I'm a betting man, I'd say we will be. So where do I want to take that long? Probably somewhere in this pump chaser zone. Tom Walsh, you're talking me into getting long on Serum. Cool it, bro. But seriously, yeah. This is where I see us like sometime later this year. That would make a lot of sense. But everything is, tied to Bitcoin, tied to the general markup of the entire market. I think fundamentally I see more money coming in than I see going out in the next 5 years. And the lower the lower that time amount is, the less certain I can be, right? So 5 years, I'd say we're going to be way up. Marked up across the board. 3 years, probably marked up across the board. 2 months, I'm less confident in that statement. I think we will be marked up across the board. But you know what I mean? Like with 5 years, I'm like, oh, almost like 99% chance. Yes, this thing's going to be growing. Generational asset class. We're coming out. Month to month, you become less certain. So I don't know. That rant just kind of went off the deep end there. But does that make sense? Hope so. Fake FUD. They need way better people. Siren just decided others make better front end UI. Yeah. Let's take a look at tweet referring to then. Seems like they were defaulting to radium pools now. I don't know. You guys are talking about Serum in there. Serum pools are closing. Not sure how that affects the token. Yeah, Zach Lowry's bringing up some interesting points. There is an interconnection between Ray and Serum, and it's not. I'm not a dev. I'm a little confused with exactly how they interact. Is Ray, Radium, like the AMM? I don't know. I've got a bag of each staking. They are both working together. In Sam, I trust. Dude is smart as a whip. And I'm very comfortable. Like through all these dips, like it was only my sandbags I didn't even check. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not selling them. Every other bag I was like, should I exit? Should I enter? Should I exit? Should I add? Like, right? So I don't know. Given how I feel, let's flip back to studio, guys. I do have to wrap in the next minute. Let's go with my one light. Got a little shadow over here. All of that to say today that I think I should probably just be focusing entirely on SBF coins, because fundamentally my thesis is that they present the most confidence for me for upside. So like, then why play in any other, why play in anyone else's backyard if I think that he's got everything going on for him and I want to get on those coins? It's tempting because you spend so much time in the market. You're talking to people. They're telling you about this bag. It sounds good. This thing goes, then that thing looks like it'll go. But I think on a investment level, where I'm parking things midterm, long term, I'm going to start taking a much more focused balance in my portfolio towards things like Solana, FTT, Serum, even, and then some like lighter plays. Like I got Radium. Hxro is obviously a token that I have a little bit of. Not financial advice. I'm not allowed to talk about that one. Shit. Delete that. And FIDA, Maps, like a lot of things built on Solana. So Crowny just came out. So I think through all this dip, what I'm going to be doing is reviewing my portfolio and reflecting on exactly how I'm balanced, where my risk profile is at, and then where am I deploying that risk. And Sandbaskets and Solana Summer, that's like a narrative that I just want to be a thing, and I think it will be. So with that, today, I just kind of, everything I'm talking about today, most of the days I actually plan what I'm going to talk about, and I come out here and I share as much as I've just thought of before. Today, I did a lot of my thinking outwardly with you guys because I've just been like reconnecting my whole setup for the last 2 days. So hope you guys appreciate that. My verbal sort of journaling today with you guys. And you really just watched me walk myself into a conclusion and sort of my plan for the next few days. You guys have it all. That's literally all the things I'm thinking. Appreciate you guys coming out today. Yeah, Cope's another one. Now, look, yeah. Okay, so Zach Lowry said he moved 100% Solana a couple weeks ago. Great timing, bro. I'm happy to say that I was early, not as sizey as I should have been, given what I felt at the time and what I now feel. But that's always the case, right? But I got a good bag. I actually picked up more Solana this week on that first nuclear dip because I just thought, fuck it. Solana, $20, whatever it is, $23, picked up a little. Also never enough, right? This weekend, I would recommend anybody here who's kind of like stomach turning, a little bit of pain, a little bit of nervousness in the market, sit back, review everything you've got, review all your positions, and then really reflect on where you've come from, how far you've come, hopefully to some degree, and then what you can learn from last weekend, this week, this dip, and see what lessons you can take from it and apply to them to the next few months, because this will not be the last washout, and it will not be the last time you feel that way if you just keep repeating the same behavior. I already shared today with things I'm reflecting on, a little bit of complacency with some of my larger altcoins like Razor and a couple other things. Happens. And then let's get going on Monday in a new direction, whether that's repositioning some of your things. I'm not one for like suddenly deciding to sell a coin like once it's in a big dip, but rotating, for example, like Razor to Woo, it's a no-brainer. They're both in dips. One's in a dip on a strong uptrend showing a ton of volume. The other's in a dip after basically. So anyways, oh, no. Okay. I think we just ran the exit music. Guys, I think we tank Friday. Okay, Blade Runner, playing the bear. Appreciate you guys coming out today. Keep an eye on the market, or just take the weekend off. I don't know. Like personally, I'm going to be setting some bids in the low to mid 40s. That's all my dry powder. That's going back in on Bitcoin. I'm going to be using that Bitcoin to rotate into some other alts if they look strong. And that's my plan. I actually don't want to stare too much this weekend. So I'm going to kind of do what we just talked about for an hour or two maybe, and then just going to enjoy some nice weather, see what I can get out of life outside of the market while it's a little quiet. because I'm not selling down here, and I'm not quite sure I'm ready to buy them yet. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Take care.